Hello, GRIO fam, and welcome to this edition of The Hill with April Ryan. I want to start this week with the ongoing conversation surrounding the recent Supreme Court decisions. It's been a week now, and for Black America, the decisions surrounding affirmative action, student loans, and LGBTQ plus protections has many speaking out. I recently caught up with the Reverend Al Sharpton, who had this to say about the rulings.
The dangerous vote was this vote about LGBTQ, where they said that you can now choose who you're going to do business with. They were not even plaintiffs. The plaintiff they named said, I never asked to do something with these people. So if they're using non-injured plaintiffs, that means anybody can jump up and say, I don't want blacks in my store. I don't want blacks I don't want to have to do contracts with blacks. What they did with affirmative action and that can put black businesses out of business because they can say it's unconstitutional, just like now the court has ruled in schools. That means we don't have to deal with black or diversity and corporate spending and all of that. We've got to fight back. We've got to understand they've declared war.
Democrats are angry, frustrated, and working on galvanizing the vote for the next election cycle. The plan is to strike back at Republicans for the recent Supreme Court decisions that many say further challenges freedoms in this country. I was recently in New Orleans and caught up with Democratic National Committee head Jamie Harrison to hear his thoughts on the matter.
The Republicans have a long-term strategy in terms of dismantling all of the progress that has been made over the past decades. And we have to have a long-term strategic plan about how we push back, how we fight back, how we make sure that we take that power back for the American people, not just a select few, but all of America's people. And so that's the strategy for the Democratic Party, is that we got to constantly chip away at this. We got to constantly push back at this. This is why it's important to get the House back. This is why it's important to get at least 52 members of the United States Senate, to get rid of the filibuster so that we can go and shore up voting rights, so that we can codify road. We can do all of these things that we know we need to do in order to make the words of the founders that all people are created equal actually mean something.
There are many issues plaguing this election cycle. One of the top issues, the rise in crime. Just look at what's happening in big cities like Chicago, Baltimore, and Philly. The number of people being shot and killed is alarming and will likely take center stage during the election. Another issue is housing. It's become the #1 cause of poverty. People simply can't afford to live in America. Housing instability is the focus of more and more politicians, particularly in California. Now Congresswoman Maxine Waters is jumping in on the efforts. She has introduced a series of bills in the House in hopes of narrowing the country's racial wealth gap and ending homelessness.
There's a shortage of nearly 14 million homes for rent and purchase nationwide. Shortage of 1 million homes that are affordable and available to the lowest income Californians, with the more than 392,000 units shortage in greater Los Angeles. House prices have skyrocketed nationwide by nearly 40% since 2020. The average US renter is paying 30% or more in rent, the highest level in recent history, while the minimum wage right here in my own state and in the city of Los Angeles is just $15 per hour. Families would need to make $39 per hour to afford a modest 2-bedroom apartment at market rent.
Sunday evening, the White House was evacuated after a powdery substance was found. Preliminary reports indicate it was indeed cocaine. The Secret Service is investigating this breach, and by the way, there are various detection devices to include dog sniffing with the idea of preventing things like this. But of course, the GRIO will keep you updated on the investigation. That was a lot, but that's it for this edition of The Hill with April Ryan. We'll see you next week at the same time in the same place with more news about us and for us. Until next time, peace.